mean, we're both competitors, and there's no ill will. And once we both get punched in the face, like, we're gonna be locked in.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of.
Jake Paul is reportedly shaken after learning that Floyd Mayweather has officially joined Gervonta Tank, Davis's training camp. Though Jake insists he's staying positive and focused on his fitness, his expressions in recent interviews tell a different story. The thought of Mayweather guiding Tank, refining his precision, timing, and counterpunching has turned this fight into something far more dangerous. Fans are now convinced. Jake realizes he's not just facing a star, he's going up against a fighter being mentored by one of the greatest boxing minds in history, and with every new training clip that surfaces, the pressure on Jake Paul keeps getting heavier.
Cardio, the conditioning, it's a sprint and a marathon at the same time. But I feel great. So I don't know, after 5 years of doing it, I'm healthier than ever, mentally doing amazing. So I'm just always thinking of the positive. And even in sparring, I've never been knocked down or knocked out or anything. So I've just yet to experience any.
Have you ever been knocked out?
No, never. I was meditating once. That's how my nose is crooked. People think my nose is crooked from boxing, but I was meditating once. It's the only time I've ever passed out and I got knocked out. But I like was sitting on this higher chair thing, meditating, breathing in, and I think I had like low blood sugar or something, or it was early in the morning, earlier than I normally woke up, and I just fell forward straight into the concrete, and it broke my nose, and I was like knocked out for like.
Floyd Mayweather has officially stepped into Gervonta Davis's camp, offering his legendary insight and strategic edge as the fight draws near. His presence alone injects championship-level focus and confidence into Tank's preparation. Under Mayweather's watchful eye, Davis is refining every detail, his precision, composure, and mental sharpness, all being elevated for what could be the biggest moment of his career. Many analysts immediately point out the stark contrast in size and reach between the two fighters. Gervonta. Davis has built his legacy dismantling opponents in the lower weight classes, divisions where his raw power and speed are nothing short of lethal. Jake Paul, on the other hand, has operated as a cruiserweight, entering the ring significantly heavier and using his natural size and reach to his advantage. For many critics, that difference is the biggest concern. They argue the physical gap is so wide that no official sanctioning body would ever approve it as a legitimate bout.
My question is, what's the rules? And like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah,
you know,
big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's gonna eat his
I thought
guts.
Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed.
No, that was actually getting.
That
sounded
the
more
craziest
interesting.
idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, you know, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like
So
that.
what is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we don't punch each other in the jaw?
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so
not
they
very
can get away with
interesting to
it. No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah,
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
He's so small.
He's so small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person, and he's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person.
I worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Well,
Oh,
Floyd
dude.
likely has shoes on
Oh,
there.
dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small.
Chael Sonnen has emerged as one of the loudest voices standing behind Gervonta Davis. To him, Tank isn't just fighting for a win. He's fighting for the integrity of boxing itself. Sonnen acknowledged that Jake Paul injected fresh attention into the sport, drawing millions of new eyes. But with that attention came skepticism, questions about authenticity, skill, and what truly defines a boxer. Now, Sonnen says it's on Davis to restore balance. This fight, in his words, is more than entertainment. It's boxing defending its honor. While Sonnen respects Jake's influence in popularizing the game, he's made it clear. Tank needs to deliver a statement performance, one that reminds the world of the vast difference between internet fame and elite-level mastery.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched them weigh in. I want to say it was like 8.
They're not just numbers. They're a system built to protect fighters. To keep competition fair and balanced, Gervonta Davis has spent his career facing opponents built like him, fast, compact, and explosive. But stepping in against Jake Paul changes everything. Jake's frame naturally carries more muscle, more reach, and more raw power. The difference in walking weight alone raises major concerns. Tank's precision and knockout ability won't disappear, but landing those shots on a bigger man who can take heavier punches, that's a whole new challenge. Even with superior skill and timing, Davis would need more than talent to overcome that physical wall. And on the other side, Jake doesn't need to outbox him, just to use his size, absorb the pressure, and make it a war of endurance. It's a clash not just of styles, but of physics. And that's what makes this fight so unpredictable.
Way in hell this fight was ever gonna happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on, guys, like, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans, you understand this. This fight was never gonna happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You can still purchase them online, and the fight is still listed.
Throughout his career, Gervonta Davis has built his reputation on discipline, legacy, and a desire to face the best the sport has to offer. That's why some fans are puzzled by his decision to step into the ring with a social media star still climbing the ladder of credibility. To purists, this feels like a detour, time that could be spent defending titles or chasing elite contenders. They worry that by sharing the spotlight with a YouTuber, Tank might be giving influencer boxing more legitimacy than it deserves. The concern isn't just about competition. It's about what it represents. For a fighter who has always defined himself by skill and legacy, this move feels like a shift towards spectacle over substance. Still, no one can deny what this fight brings: global attention, massive viewership, and a payday unlike anything else in the sport. Yet for those who see Davis as one of boxing's last true craftsmen, the hope remains that his legacy won't be blurred by the noise of entertainment.
Not the problem with boxing, Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's gonna make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight. I know Tank Davis multiple times has said he only cares about the money and just wants to make $100 million and go retire off an island somewhere, but that's bad for the sport, especially coming from one of our sport's biggest superstars. Look at guys like Naoya Inoue, Alexander Usyk, Terrence Crawford. Those guys are real fighters, okay? They challenge themselves against the best fighters in the world. And money comes their way too from it. Don't get it twisted. What's crazy is Tank would make just as much money if he fought Shakur, Devin Haney, even Teofimo Lopez. The biggest tragedy of all is the fact that Lamont Roach isn't getting his rematch. He got robbed in that fight with a knockdown. He definitely would have won the split decision, and he would have got his Buster Douglas moment, but he didn't. And now he can't even get a rematch because Tank is going to do this. And now Lamont Roach has to fight Pitbull Cruz instead. I used to be such a big Tank Davis fan, but over the last year and a half that I've had this channel, the amount of BS that I've had to report on Tank Davis just like this completely turned me off as a fan of Tank Davis. Jake Paul can do his thing with the influencers, with the MMA fighters, but with boxers, stop.
Boxing today looks nothing like it once did. The sport has evolved into an era where pure talent isn't always enough to capture attention. Unless a fight carries a dramatic storyline or a viral hook, it struggles to break through the noise. Analysts say the reason is simple: audiences have changed. Fans scroll fast, crave quick thrills, and respond more to moments that trend than to mastery inside the ring. Promoters, noticing this shift, now build fights around spectacle rather than skill. That's why influencer boxing thrives. It's built for the era of clicks and headlines. But for traditionalists, this evolution feels like a slow erosion. The artistry, discipline, and respect that once defined boxing's golden years are being overshadowed by events designed to entertain first and inspire second.
To where it's at, I'll expand on that. For one, you have good fights where I'm not talking about these type of fights, crossover type of fight, former Disney guy, influencer stuff, not. And Jake Paul has really promoted himself and acquitted himself to the point where he's kind of a boxer. Now, he hasn't fought the top names, I get it, blah, blah, blah. But he's doing his thing. He's training like a boxer. He's not like taking it lightly, like streaming and then working on his YouTube more than he's working on his boxing. It is what it is, right? But beyond that, let's keep it going. I told you I'm about to really get unpacked. Subscribe to the channel. The reality is, the reason why I'm saying I blame you, the fans, is because we've had some very good fights, like David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, whatever. I'm talking in the last 5-10 years, right? Very good fights, all boxing. So not talking influencer or any type of crossover fight, right? good fights, and then you got boxing fans in a niche sport who didn't further the exposure by advertising or buying the fight, mostly buying the fight with piracy and whatnot. So now we're at a point in this society where these companies, they're like, all right, they see the piracy is a problem. Now they're looking for sure shot, must win type of scenarios. That's why we're getting these fights that some people, purists and diehards, are calling wonky fights. You know what I mean? It is your fault, because when there was real boxing on.
As buzz around the showdown reached new heights, organizers were suddenly hit with an unexpected setback. The original venue, once confirmed to host the event, backed out at the last minute. Executives reportedly felt uneasy about attaching their name to something critics labeled entertainment over sport. They argued it didn't meet the standards expected of an officially sanctioned bout. But behind the scenes, promoters scrambled into action. Phones rang nonstop as they negotiated with arenas across the country, desperate to keep the date intact. Eventually, they found a new stage, one willing to embrace the spectacle and the massive audience it promised. The last-minute shift created pressure, but it also revealed something deeper: how flexible the business of boxing has become. When global attention and millions of dollars are at stake, the show doesn't stop. It simply finds a new home.
Jake Paul is over 50 pounds heavier than Gervonta Tank Davis, and he's nearly a foot taller than Gervonta Tank Davis. So no sanction body wants to, and no commission wants to, should I say, I keep saying sanction body, no commission wants to sanction it. They don't want to be a part of it, as I told you guys. So they announced that the fight was going to take place November 14th in Atlanta at the State Farm Arena where the Atlanta Hawks play. And the Georgia Athletic Commission, he came out and he made a serious statement, and he let the world know that they falsely...
Few fighters today understand modern entertainment quite like these two. Their boxing careers follow the same blueprint that built their social media empires, one where attention equals opportunity. They've mastered the formula: choose the right opponents, create buzz, and keep the world watching. It's not always about belts or rankings anymore. It's about headlines, clicks, and conversations. Every call-out, every post, every face-off fuels the machine. And while purists may roll their eyes, the results speak for themselves. Massive pay-per-view numbers, non-stop media coverage, and constant relevance in a sport that often struggles for spotlight. Yet when it comes to Gervonta "Tank" Davis, experts say his impact runs far deeper than the hype.
Discussion in the boxing world about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis, his resume, who he's gonna fight, the competitors that he's gonna fight. And every once in a while, something happens that proves that Gervonta Davis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like Gervonta Davis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. Gervonta Davis, they always say that Gervonta Davis has a poor resume, but yet Gervonta Davis, guys that fight Gervonta Davis, lose to Gervonta Davis, or get a draw to Gervonta Davis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Davis. Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta Davis fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC 140-pound champion.
Danny Garcia understands the entertainment factor in boxing. He knows that fans are drawn to strange matchups because they create anticipation. Even though he admits this fight does not elevate rankings or settle any rivalry, he recognizes the strong curiosity behind it.
Jake Paul will be taking on Tank Davis in an exhibition on November 15th in Atlanta, Georgia, live on Netflix. And this is crazy for multiple reasons. One, they have a huge size difference. Tank Davis, he's a lightweight, normally fights at 135 pounds. And Jake Paul, he's a cruiserweight, usually fights at 200 pounds. So there's a good 60 to 65 pound difference here. It could also mean that Tank Davis is no longer interested in competing for titles anymore and is cashing out of boxing. There's been a lot of talks that Tank is nearing retirement this year, and he was supposed to rematch Lamar Roach after their first fight went to a draw, but instead of chasing the Roach rematch, instead he takes the Jake Paul fight for money. So maybe this is Tank's last, or one of his last fights. And same for Jake Paul. He just got ranked number 14 at cruiserweight after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So he's supposed to be fighting other ranked contenders or top guys at cruiserweight, but instead he's taking a money fight. But I do expect these two to go after each other. Even though it is an exhibition, I don't think it'll just be some boring sparring match. I do think they'll try a decent amount. But Tank, obviously, is a lot more skilled.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. There's a lot more unfolding in the world of boxing. Until next time, keep your gloves up and your eyes on the fight game.